I feel like I can be really annoying. So like
Oh
that is
yeah.
a positive thing I have going in
I'll
in
sing
my
the
favor.
campfire song at the top of my lungs. It's the CAMPFIRESONG song. Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
And I'm Elle.
And today we're covering The Strangers. I know that I've seen this movie before, but I don't remember watching it. I don't remember it at all.
I remembered it a lot different than it was, but I think in my head it was a lot scarier. This time I watched it a lot more detached. This was the movie that originally
Yeah.
made me decide that maybe I don't like horror movies.
Yeah, okay. So when did you watch this movie?
Around when it came out, which I think early 2000s.
I think it's 2008, which is the year I graduated high school.
Mhm.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's
It's
been a while, yeah. And I think it didn't help that like I love Liv Tyler and I'm like,
yeah.
don't kill Arwen. Don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not to be an asshole, I don't care about her. Like she's very like soft and pretty, but I just don't. I don't have that attachment to her, even though I have seen Fellowship of the Rings 11 billion times because at one point we didn't have cable and
Mm.
that was one of the DVDs that I kept on repeat. But like, I mean, don't kill people. But, and also, I think at this point in our lives, we've seen a lot of horror movies. I know that I say that all the time, but it's like really, it's been sinking in lately how many we've seen. So maybe and maybe that's not great because then our attachment, you know, the way we watch these changes.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And I think that I was kind of still really in that era of like again watching movies with my mom and the movies that scared her, like The Hills Have Eyes and like that kind of stuff, were these like slasher movies that upset me because again, I saw the world as like a pretty cruel place and people in general as pretty cruel. And I think I've flipped that a little bit mentally at this point.
mhm.
Um, and it doesn't bother me the same way it did the first time.
That's good because I was worried about you because you've said this a bunch of times about this movie specifically. So, I am glad that we revisited it and it didn't have that big of an impact on you.
Mhm.
Um, but, I'm not really a fan of this movie,
Mm-mm.
like at all. Not necessarily that it's even a bad movie, because I don't think it's a bad movie, and I think that it really did something, especially for when it came out. But no, and I don't think that I like slashers the way that I used to
Mm.
either.
I think I've come around on them, but I don't think I've ever liked them. They're just not for me. I want some kind of paranormal element in there to like catch me. I want some kind of lore. And I think too that the killer saying again and again, you were, that not giving them an answer as to why you were just home at the end. It's not satisfying. It doesn't have that
No.
thing behind it that you're trying to solve. I mean, if there were some kind of clues, like if there was like suspicion that he was cheating, which there isn't really because she's the one who turned him down, which also I thought he was being a bitch about that.
I want
But if
to.
there was
But yeah,
something there that could have given us something to at least think about and then to be slammed at the end with, oh, you were just home, then
yeah.
maybe because then it's just like twist. But it would have been nice to have something. And I was sad at the how they did Dennis in this. I have to say, Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny in a
Yeah,
black Jeep saying Dennis ass things as he pulls in, gets fucking his face blown off by
that's
dipshit.
that is really sad.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so like maybe let me not say I always make blanket statements and then later have to like backtrack that. Maybe it's not necessarily slashers, but what you said about the unsatisfying element, because we covered a movie during Black History Month. I can't remember what it was called because it was, but it was a like a haunted carnival thing, and
Oh yeah,
it was
Hellfest.
similar. Yes, that one.
Yes. Yeah.
And the killer literally did it just because. And I don't care about that.
Mm-mm.
Like I'm just like, well, uh personally, I'll never be in that situation. So like and I'm watching this movie for entertainment purposes. Like, what are you giving me, really? Except I'm mad at y'all. I'm mad at the mask guys because
Yeah.
they're losers.
Well, they kind of got the W in the end, though. You have to admit.
I mean, yeah, but like, fuck y'all. Sorry, mom. You
Oh
guys are losers. You have no motivations in life except for doing deranged
yeah,
shit, and
and
you're
so much work went into this because they
yeah,
tormented them. I was
yes,
That's what I was thinking. It was like, Jesus, this is a lot of work for you were home.
uh-huh. And like, you guys don't even get paid for it. You're doing it for free. You losers.
Right,
Losers.
you're not even freaking like for hire. You're just, wasting
Weirdos.
your time.
like, like,
And I
literally
wish
for
I had the amount of time that it took them to like hatch this plan just for free, that I could just like, write some smut, play my bass, practice, get my shit done because
we're not, like,
Mhm.
it's absurd and like not even in a fun way.
Yeah.
So, but I love the like dynamic of the couple because this very palpable tension of like a rejected marriage proposal is so realistic, and they have really good chemistry in that. So like all that stuff in the beginning, like
Mhm.
this could have been like a romantic drama,
Mhm.
you know. Um Also, I not necessarily in this movie, but I love the man, Scott Speedman, because he plays Michael Corman in Underworld and he has
Mm.
long hair. Like,
Okay, see, long hair changes everything.
it
Just
does.
saying.
It does. Because I was like, this man looks real familiar. And then I was like, oh, he has short
I think
hair.
the real like test of if a man's hot is if I think he's hot with long and short hair, because
Yeah.
it's hard for me to think a man with short hair is attractive, let me be honest with you.
I'm even going to throw in without facial hair because most men are hot with facial hair. You give them a
Mhm.
baby face, it's hit or miss.
I've had friends, like guys I was in bands with, that would shave their face and I wouldn't even like
But,
fucking pick them out of a crowd. I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
who are you? Yeah, when my biological father would shave his face, we would just be like, you're a stranger. Get out. Just get out of here. So, I want to talk about when shit starts to pop off because I was mad. You know, we're talking about this drama, the tension, and he is, I mean, he does act like a bitch during some of these parts. But initially, I feel like cuz I have had some very bad and scary breakups, so I feel like sometimes that lens is different than like someone who's just had like mediocre vanilla or maybe just one relationship. When he wants her to take the car, I thought that that was great. He's like, that's one thing off her back. And when I mean, he was very much not putting the blame on her. Like,
Mm.
it's not your fault that you don't want to marry me, but it does suck. And I felt like all that was just very like almost like another person in the room with them. And they're having this moment where he's like, and I don't even like romance. What's wrong with me? He's like, you're my girl. And they're wrapped up in, you know, the all the emotions. And then this bitch knocks on the door at 4 o'clock in the morning and she
Yeah.
just ruins everything. And then it's all downhill steadily from there.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I hate her.
It kind of sucks because it started. The reason I thought he was a bitch personally is because she just didn't want to get married. She didn't say she
Yeah,
didn't want to marry him. She said she wasn't ready yet. And
yeah.
they seem like a young couple characters, you know. Um, and he seemed to be like, this is the end of the relationship. We have to cancel this shit. He was
I
just being
think
a
he's
bitch at the beginning.
embarrassed. I think he's just really embarrassed because some people have like this, and you know, I used to be married. I'm not married anymore. I've been married for like 5 years, but you know, prior to all of that, I had a certain view of marriage. Like this is seen for a lot of people as, you know, this is the milestone. And if when I'm ready, she's not ready, like that could just be like, okay, ugh, she that's it. Like that's it. I'm a failure. And he even says that this is so embarrassing. And I definitely think
Mm.
if they had been stabbed to death,
They would have
at least half
come
of them
around, yeah.
would they would have come around to that, you know? It's just fresh.
Yeah.
It's
I guess I
how
just
we
have a different view because every marriage that I've been around is a catastrophe.
yeah,
And my my way of thinking about it is if you're going to be with someone, you're going to be with someone. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. So,
yeah, my relationships are different now, but yeah, they're young. You do silly shit when you're young. You learn a lot of things when you're young, unless and you get through them unless someone murders you
right.
for no reason. He does do some things that I'm not fond of at all. He does gaslight her like a bunch of times and doesn't really listen to her in the beginning. He does
Mhm.
come around to it, and he admits that he's like, I just don't understand how what you're saying is possible because I looked through the house and there's no one here. And they're purposely moving around them. So like they wouldn't be able to get a grasp of what's going on, and they're scared.
They're like too good at it, I think. And again, so much fucking work for you were home, you know?
Hmm. I need some revenge, you know,
Yeah.
like you ruined my life in high school. You I don't know, you kicked my dog. Anything.
Mhm. I wanted
Literally,
this house. I wanted this 70s ass house. I'm jealous
yeah.
because I can't live in this 70s ass house. I don't know.
Then
Like
I
come up with
want your
something.
life, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
There are people who like literally steal people's babies out of their tummies, which is terrible, but like there's always a motivating factor. I'm not saying the motivating factor has to be smart, rational. Usually it's not because murder's not rational when it's not in self-defense.
Hmm.
So just give
But
me
it's a movie. Tell a
yeah,
story.
yeah,
It doesn't have to be realistic. That's not necessarily, I mean, it has to be within the bounds of realism as far as like not taking you out of the flow of the story, but it doesn't have to be that you could add so many different elements to movies because it's storytelling. Again, like I said, I think it would be more satisfying for me if there was something like if she suspected that there was some reason, maybe he had gambling debts, maybe something like that, or maybe I mean, it was his family house, so it could also be
yeah.
maybe his family was like, had connections with like crime or something. I don't know. Give me something. Give me something to at least like wonder about. So it's not just like an absolute like anxiety fest. At least like the other movie that I kind of put this on is Tailgate, I think is the name of it, the one with the old man. And at least he had motivation because they got in a fight.
Yes, you have to have like an inciting incident.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, like what am I watching? Just random. And you know what? That you said something that they're just too good at it. But
Mm-hmm.
like at the end of this, she says it'll be easier next time. Is that insinuating that this is the first time that they've done that? Because there's no way. There would be so many
No.
blunders.
Well,
Like,
maybe it's that's kind of like killing is my business and business is good, to quote Dave Mustaine, I guess. But like, maybe this is like what they do. But again, like, did you see them take anything? Like, was give me a reason, bitch. Give me a reason. That's all I'm saying. Like rob them or something at least.
yeah, but I think that that's just like the worst. And is it just like a tool to put this new fear in the people who are watching to be like anything could happen to you for no reason at all?
I mean, I guess.
But that's not scary to me because I don't know. Like I mind my business,
Right.
you
And
know? That's not what happened.
you can't control that kind of shit. And like trying to think about it, you're gonna be like I was for most of my 20s, agoraphobic and locked inside. That is not the way we like need to live our lives. I At this point, I would rather just be fucking murdered than be stuck
That's
inside the rest of my life.
that's my thing. If I'm out in the woods, if I'm out in the woods in a cabin that's like really deep out there, okay, and some people start fucking with me, and I know I haven't done anything wrong, and all my resources are exhausted, just get it the fuck over with.
Mhm.
Just get it. Like, what do you want? What do you want?
Right.
Nothing. All right, then I'm just gonna sit here, and I'm not gonna make it fun for you, bitch.
No, I'm just gonna sit there. Maybe I'll find something to end myself with, but you know.
Or annoy you until you get me.
Mhm. I feel like I can be really annoying. So like
Oh
that is
yeah.
a positive thing I have going
I'll
in
sing
my
the
favor.
campfire song at the top of my lungs. It's the CAMPFIRESONG song.
I can just do what I do with D&D and just start burning shit down. Like that's how I play D&D. I get annoyed. You make me feel like there's no way out of this, like possible with the rolls. I'm just going to start burning things. That's
Yeah,
what I
why
do
not?
when I get mad.
Why not? If I really don't have any weapons, and like, let's be honest, I have small hands. You can still catch them though. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go. Let's just go. At one point, though, I'm not trying to victim blame. Please don't come for me. But she didn't even try at one point because she left the door open. She went into a room and started banging on the windows, and she didn't even close the door.
Well, not just that, she just like screamed a lot in
A
this
lot.
in when she was like hiding. She like revealed where she was way too much, I feel like.
I'm
She
really
wasn't playing the
good.
game.
No, I'm very short and I'm really good at hiding.
Well,
So,
just like the initial one, she's like sitting next to the bed. I'm like, crawl under the bed, bitch. Crawl under the bed.
okay, anything. I don't know. I don't know.
That place has got to have like an attic, probably. There's probably at least a crawl space, which that would be great, you know, because then you have like, you might have like, you know, bad bin type shit. You've got ashes and like ghosts up there. You could like try to get the ghosts to like eat the bad guys, like add a paranormal element. There were so many ways to make this movie. I think the funny thing is, I wasn't scared this time. I was bored.
Me too. I started, yeah, I was flipping through TikTok in the last 30 minutes of this because I'm just like, at this point, and look, I'm sitting here saying whatever, but at the same time, I am also highly claustrophobic. So, uh, even if I tried hiding, eventually I wouldn't be able to breathe and I would come out and just say, let's just do this already.
True. I feel like I'm claustrophobic, but I can wait it out because we're talking about like this starts at 4 a.m. and then it's like daylight when it happens, but it's like new daylight. It's like sunrise. So this is like happening in a matter of hours.
Yeah. But I also feel there's only three of them, like these intruder people.
Yeah.
So run. But she's really bad at using her legs. As soon as she started running away, she falls in a hole and breaks her ankle or dinks her ankle, and then she's like out. She's crawling and limping through the rest of the movie. I'm like, I'm not like a track star, but
Well, and like I don't understand why all of these like leads in these movies are so clumsy. Like I am not a graceful person, but I can keep myself upright most times, you know?
well, I did make my sim. I gave them the clumsy trait for the first time ever. She trips over everything, literally.
It's a little
Air.
overkill, dude. I don't know. It's really weird to kind of like looking
And
back
then they
at
separate.
it.
You know the rules.
Yeah. And why? I still don't understand why
You're
they
not leaving.
decided to do it.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And
Like, if they're
especially,
gonna get us anyway, why are you leaving me here?
yeah. And how protective he was. seemingly was over her. He just left her to
It
go
doesn't make
out
sense.
when he was going out to the barn or something to get what was he
The
the
radio.
radio. Why couldn't she go
Mhm.
with him? I don't understand that.
Especially when she's saying repeatedly, "Don't leave me alone," and he has already at one point left her alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm jumping on your back like a spider monkey. We're going together. You're not leaving me. You're not. But realistically, we never really know how what we would do until we're actually in this situation. These are all hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But
If this was me and you though, we'd get out.
oh, for sure. Sorry, girl.
I am a skilled hiker. We would get out. I just go into the woods.
And also, we've seen all these movies. We know how to get away.
True.
That's Kristen's problem.
She didn't
Not
watch
enough.
enough horror movies.
No, she didn't. But apparently she lived, so that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
These little
Well,
Jehovah's Witness boys found her. But Jehovah's Witness boys don't even pass out pamphlets that young.
no, and they don't just go walk like I don't really see them walking into somebody's house. Like that seems like such a like bad idea and like I think like your parents would tell you not to do that.
They
Like
don't even celebrate birthdays and have birthday parties. They wouldn't walk into someone's house.
right. Like even if you thought something was up, you would fucking turn around and go. And if this house, another thing is if this house is as isolated as they make it out to be, why the fuck are they out there anyway? Who's sitting their tiny kids out into this like route in the middle of the woods?
Apparently, Jehovah's Witnesses. This is Jehovah's Witness slander.
It's just not very I think it was like another odd choice storytelling wise
Mm-hmm.
on top of it all because they needed to frame it and I guess they said I just know how much like based on a true events is so loose, but I think that it was based on the fact that of that the call that they showed at the beginning, like that
I was
somebody made a
wondering,
call.
and
Huh?
I was wondering about that, what crime it was based on, but I'm gonna be so for real. I used to be a true crime freaking nutcase, and I've listened to Ashley Flowers all day long, and all these true crime podcasts. I don't have the stomach for it anymore, so I didn't look into it because it's like it's real, and that makes me sad. So
Yeah.
I'll pass. I'll pass. I watch like an episode of these documentaries on Max every now and then, but it just makes my tummy hurt.
At least true crime has motivation, which is more than I can say for this movie.
There's always
Um
just like the guy says in Scream, there's always a stupid reason to kill your girlfriend. There's always motive.
there's a motive, yeah. And so like and I mean and probably these people have a motive underneath it all besides just like the randomness. There's probably some like manifesto behind that, some kind of reason they're doing it. They're just not going to explain it in the movie. And my
Mm.
brother and I talked about this briefly because I told him I was covering it. And he said this movie made him incredibly uncomfortable as well. But the sequel was fucking stupid, is what he told me. He said,
I didn't know there was one.
yeah, apparently there's a sequel, and he said it is the stupidest shit that he ever watched, and it's not even funny stupid. So like maybe they explain it there. I don't know, but
Well, there you have it.
I'm not gonna watch it to find out.
No, I'm not interested. No, thank you.
Hmm.
But yeah, do we have to chud this?
Oh God. I feel
Shit.
like we should get back to chatting things. But it's gonna get a solid like 1.5 for me.
I'm gonna give it two chuds.
Okay.
That is mostly for Scott Speedman. Let's just be real.
I mean, I'll give it I would give it one chud, but like half a chud for having, Glenn Howerton in it. I'm a big Always Sunny fan. Also having him play such a Dennis adjacent character, really. I love that. Even though it was just a brief thing and you did kind of do him dirty, but I get the utility of that little like snippet of the
Immediate
plot.
shotgun to the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, immediate and it showed how like wired up the main character was because he was like he was like on a hair trigger at that point
Yeah.
and it made him make a mistake. He had a miscalculation there because that was his friend, not his foe.
Let me just throw back in here. That guy should have been announcing himself all through the house.
Oh, for real.
This shit was shady. Like, he had something thrown at his car, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Red alert.
Right.
Bro, hello? It's your boy. I'm walking in the house. I'm coming.
I mean, they're out in the middle of the woods. There's not just going to be bottle kids out there. Trailer Park Boys reference. I have to get that in. I didn't get one in.
Yeah, you're overdue. So yeah, two chuds.
I'm sticking with 1.5, but I feel like that's pretty. I think that that is very respectable because you are not completely anti-slasher and I am anti-slasher, so I knew I was going to be a little bit lower.
Yeah, but not much. This is not a movie that I'm ever gonna watch again. Now the new one that's coming out, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, I'm interested in to see what they do. Maybe they will make the story a little bit more satisfying.
Please, dear God, dear Nicolas Cage, please give us a story. That's all we want. We're simple ladies. So you can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostinthemagazine.site or on Twitter at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
And you can find me at Nocturnical.
Okay, bye.